states, you will discover that minus the federal allocation, the state will follow. This now poses the challenge that we have to look outside. And looking outside is to look at other alternative means of developing our economy. The agricultural sector is standing there with a lot of potentials for job creation and creation of national wealth. You have the solid minerals, which has not been, have been neglected for some time, and the solid mineral sector was responsible even for laying the solid foundation of the Nigerian state. I'm from Plateau and from Jos. Of course, most of the lands in Jos have been devastated as a result of tin mining, meaning that solid mineral was at one time a foreign reserve earner for this country. These have been neglected. So I think we have to go back to our drawing board and look at these other sectors that could provide alternative wealth creation for this country, and then we have to encourage the generation of internally generated revenue by the states and the local government. Sadly, when I was the chairman of my local government, the IGR was too poor. I inherited a local government where we collected only 40,000 naira in a month. And 49,000 naira cannot even pay, cannot fuel the traveling expenses of the chairman. And so we had to develop some ways of facilitating how this can be done. So I think if we look into these two areas and other areas, we will be able to make progress. Then back to the issue of whether the correctional, distinguished Senator Sani asked whether our prison systems are correctional or punitive. I will not deny the fact that the system as they are today are punitive. They are punitive because a man is detained. I know of a person who was detained over 5 years in prison for an offense that he could have been sentenced for 6 months. That is punitive. It's punitive indeed. And if you look at the conditions with which people are detained in Nigeria, they are so deplorable. So they look very punitive. So the prison system as they stand today are more or less punitive. The condition of service of even the prison officers are nothing to write home about. And when I was a young prison officer, I do know that when you escort either an awaiting trial or a convict to a court outside the prison, you are entitled to sleeping night allowance. These things does not exist. The leave grants are even not there. The prison cells themselves, if you go there, they are nothing to write home about compared to what is obtainable in other places. So the Senate President, I think, we borrowed the system of the prison system from Britain. And so if we must make progress, there is a need to understudy the progress and development recorded in the traditional home with which this system was borrowed, and then we make amendment to bring it into conformity with our own peculiarity. That will do us much justice. I will come back to take the last question that there's a new order of change, but there is also a one-man riot gang approach to the issue of war against corruption. I think what the 2015 election has unveiled in this country is the introduction of politics of ideology. Change is not just a concept, but it's an ideology. It's a driving ideology. Those who subscribe to change are those who believe that things should not be done the way they have been done so many years and giving us no results at all. So I think it's an ideological aspect. Then corruption cannot be reduced to opinion. Corruption must be defined by an act of the National Assembly, which is a non-law. My opinion cannot be seen to be an issue of corruption. And I give good example here. There are some people that believe that as an honorable person, you should not smoke cigarette. That is his opinion. And there are those who believe that it has nothing to do with my conduct. So I think corruption is an act that borders on borders on impugning the conscience of a person. So when an act touches on your conscience and you are convinced that that act is morally not sound, we are talking about corruption. So, of course, I don't know of anybody who is prosecuting a one-man riot gang corruption. If that is known, we will also advise that it should not be done that way.
A corrupt person. Yes. How do you describe a corrupt person? And what mechanism will you put in place to ensure there won't be any corrupt practices in your ministry as a minister? Assuming you are appointed as the Minister for Environment, as a minister, because you have master's degree in law, or as a minister for justice, 80% out of 100% of all the motions on this floor are on environmental related issues. Even today we had a motion on flooding on the floor of the Senate. So we have a lot of environmental degradation in this country. So if you're appointed as a Minister for Environment or Minister for Justice, how would you ensure that public institutions adhere to environmental laws in this country. We have environmental impact assessment for